Hi there, Clarissa. It's nice to meet you. My name's Ashley. I'm a student physical therapist at Owens Community College, and today I'm going to be doing some stretches and exercises for you based off of your condition. This is Loki back here. He just had surgery, so he has the cone of shame, so just ignore him. He might pop up from here and there. He's just trying to rest. So one thing that I want to tell you before I get started with you, I have some notes here. Over some of the stuff that I want to do with you. It's a lot of information, so I just want to make sure I cover it all with you. So if you see me looking, that's what that's for. So the first thing that I want to address with you is your knee extension. And the stretch that I want to do with you today is called a seated hamstring stretch. So a couple of reasons why I chose to do this stretch with you. One reason is to help you from being able to bend over and grab the waist of your pants as you're pulling your pants up to help you get dressed. You need to keep your knees straight as you're pulling your pants up over your knees. So this will help with that. And then the second reason I decided to do this stretch with you is to improve the range of motion in your knee. So I saw that you had a lack of range of motion in your knee, and this would inhibit you from like ambulation or daily function. So I want to address that with you to get to that normal range so that you can perform your daily activities functionally. Okay. So, to show you the stretch, I'm going to grab a chair over here. Okay. So, a seated hamstring stretch, I'll actually show you this way. So it was your left knee that I saw you had a total knee replacement on. So we would be doing this stretch with the left knee. So what I want you to do is I want you to sit on the edge of the chair, and I want you to keep a couple of things in mind. So keeping those shoulders over the hips, your head over your hips, the ears, keeping good position, don't round the spine, and keep this right leg flat on the floor, and keep this left leg straight as you're doing this. So what you'll want to do is you want to keep your heel in contact with the ground, and then you're just going to lean forward and you should feel a stretch in the back of your thigh. So as you're doing this, you can keep your hand on the back of your thigh to make sure that you're maintaining that good stretch and performing it correctly. And I know that your knee replacement is pretty new, so if you are only able to just extend that knee, that is totally fine. You don't have to bend if you can't tolerate it. So something that I would do is I would do the same thing to make sure that you're performing the exercise correctly. So I would keep my hand on the back of your thigh and your leg here to make sure that you're lengthening those muscles of the hamstring that we're trying to stretch. So one thing that I don't want you to do while doing this is to bend your knees. So, I got stuck on the rug here, sorry. So if you're performing this stretch, you're sitting on the edge of your chair, you're keeping good posture, but your knee is bent, you're not going to feel that stretch. So it'd be an ineffective stretch if you were to keep that knee bent. So that would be one thing that I wouldn't want you to do. So you want to keep that knee straight, bending forward, and feeling that nice stretch in the back of your thigh. One reason I would want you to stop this exercise would be if you were to not be able to keep that knee straight as you're performing it. It would just be ineffective and not productive if you weren't able to keep that knee straight. So we could address that and then perform a different exercise that would actually benefit you in this motion. Okay. I'm going to review your next exercise, so I'm going to cut right now, and then I will be right back. Hi there, Clarissa. The next thing that I want to address with you is your knee flexion, which is just the bending of the knee. So it's this motion, bending. So I wanted to address this with you for a couple of different reasons. First reason being that it will help you to get up into your car and bend that knee to be able to get up into your car. And the second reason why I wanted to do this with you is to improve your range of motion in this range. I noticed during your evaluation that you were lacking a couple of degrees in this motion, so this will help to increase that few degrees and to get you to your the normal range of motion for most people. So for this exercise, I've got a dog leash here. You can use anything that has like a loop with it, and I'll bring you down. So I will have you laying on your side. This will obviously be your left leg. I'm using my right now just to show you. So you will have the strap around your foot, laying on your side. And then you're gonna kind of feed it up over your shoulder, laying here. And then you're just gonna pull the leash to bend that knee. And then you should be able to feel stretch in the front of your thigh here. So to show you again, we've got the leash wrapped around my foot. I want you to maintain good contact while doing this, so I don't want you to roll forward or backwards while doing this. The knee should be bent, but you shouldn't have your thigh like up and over like this or back. It should be in line with your bottom leg, which is straight. And then keeping good contact, keeping your spine straight as you're doing this, pulling the leash over and holding the stretch as directed, and then relaxing. And to show you again, pulling up and just pulling on the leash here. My leg is relaxed and I'm feeling a good stretch in the front of my thigh. So something that you can do while you're performing this is you can keep your hand in the front of your thigh, and you'll feel those muscles start to lengthen as you're pulling back away and coming back. And then something that I will do is I will do the same thing to make sure that you're stretching the right muscles. Is I'm going to put my hand in the front of your thigh, and as you pull, I'll feel those muscles in the front of your thigh to start to lengthen and coming back. So if while you're performing this exercise, if you were unable to perform the stretch with no pain, I would want you to stop. This would put you at risk for an injury, especially in your very early post-op stage. So we would want to prevent that. So one thing that I don't want you to do also while you're doing that is to actively use your leg. You're supposed to leave it completely relaxed and let it stretch. And I'll have you hold that for 20 seconds for 4 times on that left leg. And I think that's it for that one. Yes, so again, if you feel that pain in the front of your leg or anywhere else, then I would want you to stop that exercise. Keep it straight, relaxed, get a good stretch, and we'll go from there. So I will review your next exercise, which is the push-pull of isometric hamstring. So a couple of reasons why I want to do this exercise with you would be to improve your knee flexion, which again is just that bending motion of the knee. So a couple of reasons why I wanted to do this with you is to help increase the strength of that so that you're able to pick yourself up and put yourself into the car, because you need to bend that knee and then push yourself up, which involves a hamstring. So this will help to increase the strength, which I notice another reason why I wanted to do this with you is because of your lack of strength in this motion. So there's a significant impact in your strength of this motion, and this exercise will help to increase that and perform your daily activities. So to show you, I will move this. I've got you kind of on like a big old pillow right now, so my apologies. Okay, so give you a good view of my legs here. So I want you to put your right leg back behind your left foot. So once you're here, keeping your foot and your knee in one position, I just want you to resist your left leg with your right foot and push back with your left leg against your right foot. So you'll feel a contraction in the back of your leg here as you're doing this. And while you're doing this, you can keep your hand behind your thigh, and as you are contracting, you'll feel that back of your leg start to contract, making sure that you're contracting the right muscles. So something that I will do while you're performing this exercise is I will also keep my hand underneath your thigh so I can feel that contraction of the hamstring to make sure that you're activating the right muscle. A reason I would want you to stop doing that would be if you were to unable to bend the knee without pain. So all of these exercises should be within a pain-free range. You'll feel a mild contraction while you're doing this. It should be enough to tire the muscle after a few reps, but not so much to where you're immediately tired afterwards and creating pain. So it should all be pretty easy, but enough to where it's challenging your strength. So one thing that I don't want you to do while performing the exercise is to lift your hips up. So I know a couple of people, when they are doing hamstring exercises, they like to lift the leg up so it looks like they're getting more range of motion, and that will also compensate for the strength that you're using in your knee, and you're using your hip instead. So I really want you to keep everything stationary, and the only thing that should be moving is the contraction in your leg. So even your leg shouldn't be moving, it should stay in one position as you're doing this exercise, and you should feel that nice contraction in the back of your thigh. Okay, so for your next exercise, I want to do, one second, I'm going to review. Hi there, Clarissa. For your next exercise, I want to address the extension of your knee. So to do this, I know I've got quite a big pillow here, but this is just to give you a reference as to what you're doing, just because I don't have a towel roll handy. But you would have a small towel roll under your knee, and for this exercise, all I want you to do is to contract the top part of your thigh down and push into what I would push into the pillow, but you would be pushing into a towel roll, just to not hyperextend the knee or anything, but enough to where you're getting a resistance and you have something there to remind you to push in and really contract that top of your thigh. So while you're doing this exercise, one thing that I would want you to do is I want you to keep your knee straight, and you will be laying down for this, so I'll actually lay down to show you. So you're keeping your knees straight, your back's going to be flat against here. I'm only leaning up so that you can hear me appropriately, and your shoulders will be back flat on the table. Your spine will be straight, and the leg is straight while you're performing this, and then you'll just push down, hold for 10 seconds, and then relax, rest for 10 seconds, and then repeat that 10 times. So one thing that I wouldn't want you to do while you're doing this exercise would be to bend the knee, because then you're not really activating that hamstring there, and we want to really focus on that hamstring to increase that strength there. So one reason I would want you to stop performing the exercise would be if you were unable to hold that contraction for 10 seconds. If you're unable to hold it for 10 seconds, then we could address that and modify it to whatever works for you. So one thing that you can do while doing this exercise, so as you saw while I was doing it, you could keep your hand on the front part of your thigh, and as you push back, you'll feel that quads start to contract, and that's what we're really looking for here. So one thing that I'm going to do while you're doing this exercise is I'm actually going to keep my hand underneath your thigh, or underneath your knee, my apologies, your knee. And as you're pushing back, I really want to feel that the back of your knees start to push into my hand. So that's what I'm really looking for, to make sure that you're activating the right muscles. Alrighty. And then for your home exercise program, I drew up a couple of things, and I will send this to you via email. But what I want you to do for your exercises at home is I want you to do that seated hamstring stretch that we were talking about. So that would be the one where you're seated, you got your knees straight, your heels making contact, and then you're leaning forward if you need to, feeling that good stretch on the back of your knee. And I will show you here what I drew up for you. So here's your home exercise. It's got your name and all that stuff on here. Here's the drawing that I made for you. And then there's directions for you. And then for the stretch, so I want you to hold this stretch for 20 seconds and repeat it 4 times on that left leg. So repeat this stretch 4 times a week, once a day on any chosen day that you decide. If you're doing this stretch on like an unstable surface, I would want you to really maintain your stability while doing it, but that could also pose you at risk for falling. So if you were to fall, call your providing therapist and address that problem with them. And if it results in a serious injury, then call emergency services. And again, if you are to feel pain while you're doing these exercises, I would want you to stop it. This should all be pain-free, but enough to where you're feeling a mild, moderate stretch while you're doing this. So it should be enough to where you can tolerate it and hold. And then for your next exercise for your home exercise program, we'll do your quad sets with the towel under your knee, the one that I was just addressing with you with the pillow, but you'll obviously use a towel roll. So you'll place a small towel roll under the knee, tighten the front of your thigh muscles, and press the back of your knee into that towel. So like we were talking about, really pushing that knee back. And you'll be laying down while doing it, like I was just showing you earlier. But I want you to hold this for 10 seconds and repeat 10 times with a 10-second hold in between. And I want you to do this exercise 4 times a week, twice a day on the chosen days that you decide to do those 4 days on. And for this exercise, it would be hard for you to fall, but if you were to like roll off of something while you're doing it, or if you were on an unstable surface and you were to fall, again, call your providing physical therapist, or if the injury results in serious injury, call emergency services. So if you have any questions for me, let me know, and you can just email me and we can address those during our next visit. It was really nice to meet you today. If you have any follow-up questions, just get a hold of me, and then I will look forward to seeing you for your next visit. Thank you so much.